Okay, good morning, guys. It's been a while since I've actually posted a video. I've been making them, but I've been working. This one will probably go up first, so I'll just tell you right now. I've been working 2 jobs, blah blah, making extra money, trying to make the bills, and anyway. So what was I gonna say now? Whatever. Anyway, this morning we got a 2008 Dodge Caliber, and we're gonna do some. Common problem on these right now is outer tie rod ends, so we're gonna put 2 outer tie rod ends in. We'll show you what it's all about. Okay, first things first, you gotta jack it up and take the wheel off, but they were complaining about a clunk on the right front, and Chrysler company near where I live, the local garage, told her it was the right front strut, and they told her it needed 2 outer tie rods. So I've jacked the car up, and I didn't jack it on the lower A-arm because if you look up here, the McPherson strut and spring assembly is right there. So, okay, excuse my compressor, but yeah. So the spring is on top of the ball joint. It's not. Anyway, what I have done here, instead of jacking on the lower A-arm, I've let the ball joint hang. You can see the jack down there. So I'm going to check the. What I'm doing is unloading the ball joint. Maybe I'll explain that some other time. But this has already been at a Chrysler dealership, and they told her it was the right front strut and 2 tie rods. So now I can do this while you can see that play in that ball joint right there. What I'm doing is pulling on the front of the wheel with suspension, unload it. And you can see the play I have in that ball joint. I hope you guys can see it. It's bad enough that it'll chew the tires all out. And you probably can't see it, but the back there, that tie rod, if you look between the axle boot and the lower control arm / ball joint assembly, you can see some play there too. So we're going to go ahead and take the wheel off and go from there. Okay, with the wheel off, I'll just quickly show you again. I probably won't be able to grab it here. You can see that play right there. Ball joint's finished, but we're doing inner tie rods, or outer tie rods, sorry. There is slight play here. I probably would have left it if it was my car. Anyway, the nut that holds the tie rod is 18 mil. Okay, so the inner tie rod jam nut. If you look down, you can see the slant of the thread, so you can actually tell which way you have to go to get it off. Now I've already broken it free, but this one's what you call clockwise to loosen it. So we just want to leave it tight to that, just finger tight to it, not even tight, just like that, and don't touch it, because we put our new tie rods back on. If they're the same length, it shouldn't affect the alignment very much, but I always recommend if you're changing front end parts, you have to have alignment. So, next thing we'll do is take that out, and I'll show you how to remove the tie rod end without using a pickle fork out of here, because they stick in there. They're tapered and they stick really bad. Okay? Okay. Okay, with the hammer, excuse me, we're going to smack the side of the spindle that holds the tie rod in, and that, with enough force, it should jar the tapered piece of the ball joint out of the housing. If I can hit it hard enough. There it goes. There. Now it's simply, on a lot of the newer cars, because they're easier, you can just spin it right off. Now there's other tools that you can use to take these tie rods off that makes it a lot faster, like a bigger socket we have a huge socket at work that fits over. It's like a piece of pipe, and it's got a notch in it, and it simply goes over top of the tie rod, and the notch grabs onto this. And you use your impact gun to take the tie rod ends off if you get stubborn ones. I've even seen where you had to heat the sleeve here to make it let go, or the jam nut. So that one has slight play, so it's a good thing we replaced it anyway. But the biggest problem on this side is the ball joint. So let's install the new one next. Okay, so we have the new ball joint with the grease fitting already installed. And you can see, if you put that in the center, they're pretty much the same length. Okay, with the grease fitting installed, you can see that they designed these things so they're pretty much the same length. The older cars, they were a little bit different. They could be longer or shorter, but pretty much the same. So now I'm going to go ahead and reinstall it. And you can put some grease on that thread if you want, or not. Try not to move the jam nut, because this cheapy, I think it's a cheapy brand one, it only comes with the lock nut and the grease fitting. That's all you get. You don't get the jam nut. And you can see already that it's not going on the way it should. Should just spin right on there, and it's jamming. So, see what's going on there. This could be a defect inside the thread. The tie rod end. That's pretty much happened there. That looks like a defective tie rod end. Anyway. Okay, I'm going to show you something here. Now, you see that thread in there? Goes all the way down? Well, this one is a machining error, and the thread doesn't go all the way down. It only goes in so far, and that's it. So you have to watch what kind of parts you buy. This is what happens when you get the cheaper stuff. The quality isn't there. So now I'm going to have to run back into town and get one that fits. Alright. Okay, this is the new lock nut, and some of them have Teflon, some of them the ends are squashed over like this. Anyway, so a lot of these tie rods have not an 8mm or 5/16 end on, and you can put a impact socket on that and turn it on and hold that with a wrench. But I prefer holding up on the tie rod and just kind of setting it in there with the hammer. Now, don't hit your grease fitting. Now we're just gonna, if that doesn't work, I'll have to do it the other way. We're gonna go ahead and tighten her down, hold her up a little bit. There we go. Okay, now when reinstalling aluminum wheels, they sometimes don't sit down on the rotor right, so you have to be very careful, because if you tighten it crookedly, then a lot of times what happens is this gets all full of corrosion here from the rim, and that rim will actually not sit on the rotor straight. What happens, they get corrosion in there, and it'll actually come loose down the road and fly off, and you have a chance to kill somebody, or so make sure you push the bottom in first and kind of rock it. You can see it, you can feel it kind of go into place. That's what we're after. You get all the wheel nuts on it, and then tighten her up. And then we're going to hand torque the wheel, because my compressor here is just a cheap Camel Hospital one. I think I have 100 pounds of line pressure, which isn't sufficient to properly torque these to 100 pounds. That. Sorry guys, I should have this all set up here. Bucket, tools all over the place. I need a garage. Okay, so before we tighten it, we're going to grab the bottom of the wheel. You can see it's crooked right like that. If you try to tighten that, it might kind of make it go cockeyed and it won't tighten right. So I like to push the bottom in first, and you can feel it sit flat. Then start here at the bottom, and go diagonal over, over. Okay, since my torque wrench is in the truck, and my truck is at the customer's house, I'm going to have to do it the old-fashioned way with a Johnson bar. in the socket. I'm just going to go by feel. You should be able to get a feel on it. You don't want to torque them extremely too tight, and then when they get a flat, they'll never get the tires off. It's just checking to make sure that they're good. And they're good. Okay. We'll jack it up first, check the other side. Okay, so this side ball joint checks out okay. I have cleaned my tie rod. I'm pretty sure. Anyway, I don't have the ball joint problem. Anyway, we're going to go ahead and fix that up. I won't spare you guys to see this side being done because you've seen the other side. But if I change the ball joint, we'll do that. You'll see that happen.